Hello, welcome back to Book Nerd TV. Today I'm discussing two books I read recently by the same author. The author is Attica Locke, and she is an author that I discovered quite by happenstance at the end of last year. Happened to be in a library. Remember when we can go out to public places and mill around and find wonderful things in libraries? So way back then, when I was able to go to a library, I was just browsing the library, and the graphic of her second book, Heaven My Home, caught my attention. I read the synopsis, thought, ooh, this sounds really good. And of course, I took the book home, read it, loved it. Of course, during the reading of Heaven My Home, I discovered that there is a first book in this series, the Highway 59 series, called Bluebird. And from the few things I found about Bluebird, people seem to really enjoy the book. At the same time, I was talking with Shannon at that So Poe, and we were discussing trying to pick a book for us to buddy read, and the subject of Bluebird came up. It was a book, I believe, that was on her TBR, and of course was a book that was now on my TBR, having read the second book in the series, Habit I Really Want to Break. From that, we decided to read Bluebird, so that happened earlier in this year, March, I believe. Reading the books in reverse order, number 2 first and then number 1, really didn't take away from the series. I am looking forward to book 3, book 4, book 5, book 27. I don't know. However long she'd like to keep this series going is however long I'd like to continue to read stories about Highway 59 and about Ranger Matthews, although he can be just a little annoying. Bluebird is the first book in the Highway 59 series of books, and it was published in September of 2017 by, I think it's Mulholland Books, Little Brown. It is this book, Bluebird, where we meet Ranger Darren Matthews. The setting for this story is Locke, Texas. It is a small southeastern town in southeastern Texas. Criminal activity has been happening, and now there is a murder of a lawyer from Chicago. At the time of this murder, Ranger Matthews is under investigation for his activities in a previous murder that involved a family friend of the Matthews family. Ranger Matthews has been suspended by the Texas Rangers, and he is on very thin ice with the Rangers and with the local prosecutor. He has a friend who works for the FBI, and to help Matthews out and maybe direct his attention to something else less troublesome than this investigation, he gives Matthews a tip about a murder in Locke, Texas, which may have some racial overtones. And the FBI would like for someone besides the local police to look into this investigation. Matthews travels to Locke, Texas, and of course, as you would expect, he runs into the small town sheriff, the small town police department, and all of the issues that can result from a higher ranking state official comes to a small town to investigate events in the small town. And while it appears to Ranger Matthews that the local police department would like to characterize the death of the black lawyer from Chicago as an unfortunate incident, the death of the local white woman is treated as a homicide from the beginning, and it appears to Ranger Matthews that the police officers are hell-bent on pinning it on somebody black, whether the person did it or not. As Ranger Matthews enters the investigation, neither the local police nor the local black folks in the town are particularly trusting of him. They're suspicious of what he's actually doing in town. And of course, Ranger Matthews, being a black Texas Ranger, comes in and upsets the expectations and upsets the way things have always been done in the town of Locke. So he upsets the apple cart not only for the local power establishment, he also rocks the boat for the local black population. And Miss Locke tells this side or this part of the story really, really well. The descriptions are really well written. The characters are well done. Of all the characters in the story, there may be one character who's a bit one dimensional, and therefore somewhat annoying. But Ranger Matthews is not one dimensional, and he still manages to be annoying because he's got such divided loyalties between the Rangers, the law, and what's right. He's got family of origin issues between his father, his uncles, who were like his father, his mother, who's just this complete random enigma of a woman. He has issues within his marriage. He has issues just working as a Black Texas Ranger in Texas. One of the things that I like is you get just that little hint of Black people moving out of the South, fleeing to Chicago, fleeing Highway 59, going all the way out west to California. There's just a little taste of that story, of that history in this book as well. And it just creates this wonderful, the world building that she does, which I know I usually say with regard to science fiction or fantasy, but still the world building that she does to lay the foundation for this story is just so well done. It's such a well written book. It is more than a mere detective fiction. It is more than a mere mystery. This book contemplates so many of our issues with law enforcement, contemplates so many of the issues around the racial tensions, police violence, and justice, because Ranger Matthews is a Black Texas Ranger. He is basically one of the top cops in Texas. So how does he pursue justice given the history of this country, the history of Texas, the history of law enforcement? How do you balance seeking justice, doing what's right, the letter of the law, the intent of the law, and what's really, truly the right thing and the good thing to do? I enjoyed Bluebird greatly. Again, it's probably a given since I enjoyed the second book that I would enjoy the first book. And true to form, I did. Wonderful, well-crafted detective story, mystery story, police procedural, literary treatise on race in America. I mean, it's just so many things. And for me, all of those things are done well, and I highly recommend Bluebird. The second book in the Highway 59 series is Heaven My Home. And this story takes place directly after the events of Bluebird. And in this story, Ranger Matthews gets wind of a murder in Hopetown, Texas, another small southeastern Texas town. This town is actually a lot closer to Louisiana. It's in the Bayou country, and so there is some of that Louisiana flavor that kind of leaks over into Hopetown and therefore into the story. Ranger Matthews is sent by the Texas Rangers this time to look into the disappearance of a 9-year-old white boy, because one of the prime suspects, or the prime suspect, is an older Black man. This older Black man has been having problems with some of the local white sort of squatters on or very near his land. And of course, some of those white people are with the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, which is sort of this criminal gang that has a lot of activity in that area. Not inconsequentially, the 9-year-old that has disappeared is the son of one of the more, highly placed gang members who's in jail. Locke again gives us a mystery as sort of the lost leader, as sort of the little thread that you're going to pull that kind of unravels this entire other story about the Black people who own the land in Hopetown, and even some of the indigenous people, the remnants of the tribe that are still there, we get some of their history going back to the antebellum era. She gives us this history, the real history, wrapped in a mystery about a missing 9-year-old boy. Matthews goes in with no friends, the ability to make everybody angry, to upset everybody, but his primary mission is to find out the truth, to find out whether this boy is alive or dead, to find out what the connections are with this ABT gang, and of course to wrestle with the continuing story of his family of origin, his mother, who has more of a presence in this book than she did in the first book, Bluebird, and his marriage. And Heaven, My Home, Attica Locke knocks it out of the park. Again, some of the same tensions are present in this book as they were with the first book. Some of the issues, a lot of the issues carry over, because the truth that he's looking for can be inconvenient to the story that other people want to tell, to the image that other people and agencies and institutions want to project. And so that's how meta Attica Locke gets in this book. I read it first and I was so impressed. I went back and read book 1 of the series. As you can tell, I enjoyed Heaven, My Home just as much as I enjoyed Bluebird. Matthews stays very consistent in being annoying, but I'm saying that he's annoying not because he is inconsistent as far as his character. His character is very consistent. It's just that his judgment can sometimes make you want to yell at him. The good judgment and the poor judgments that he makes are consistent with a man who was so conflicted in so many areas of his life. He's just a very, I cannot wait when this book series is optioned for a movie. I'm just really excited to see this character on screen, because I can see the movie in my mind, as they say, because I'm excited about the book series and I cannot wait for the next book in the series. So if you enjoy mysteries, if you enjoy detective fiction, if you enjoy just a story that is well crafted and well told, get Heaven, My Home. And if you'd like to extend your enjoyment, start the journey down Highway 59. The series is just, for me, it's the surprise of 2019-2020. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, of course, please leave me a like. If you enjoyed this video, maybe even the last few videos, go ahead and subscribe. And remember, if there's someone that you think might enjoy the videos and the discussions that I have here, share the video. Remember to be safe, to be kind, and to be patient. And never forget, Black Lives Matter.